In this guide, we're going to see how we can export from Rhino and import in Twinmotion. And we will make a test also with different types of geometry, like Nurbs geometry and solid geometry, like mesh and SubD, and also Grasshopper, which is another way you can build your models in Rhino. So I'm going to export the entire scene here, which contains different types of geometry. So I'm gonna go to File, and I can either select things or I can just export with the origin. So I'm gonna select the objects to import, and I'm gonna take everything from here, and I'm gonna choose an insertion point, which is the point, the central point where we are import into Twinmotion. So as the format, I'm going to choose FBX, but you have many choices here. There are different types of format that are readable by Twinmotion, but in my experience, FBX is working pretty fine, so I'm going to go for that, but you can also use OBJ or GLTF and others. So also, if you're interested in this type of modeling, you can check the design and arc video course in the channel, or also the Rhino video course or the Grasshopper video course. So I'm going to select the name, and here you can see at the top it says export Nurbs object as, and well, the correct answer would be meshes, but let's see what's going to happen if I export Nurbs instead of, just meshes. So everything else, I'm going to keep it as it is, and that's, exporting a basic material if you want to export lights and views and other stuff. Okay, export. And now let's go in Twinmotion. Of course, you need to have Twinmotion downloaded and installed already. You can do it from the Epic Games Launcher. And again, there is a video guide explaining how you can do that, and also an entire video course in Twinmotion if you want to know more about it. So how to create animation, lighting, materials, ArcViz and ProdViz, architectural visualization, product visualization. So I just created a new file, and I'm gonna just hide the starting base package because we don't need it, and gonna leave everything else. Down here you find the import button, you click on the plus button, you go here and select geometry, and then you open, and you select the file that you exported. And you can see in the Grasshopper video course, I already did an export of a mesh baked from Grasshopper. And here, this is the one that I've just created. So navigate into the folder where you save the FBX, and then you need to set up a few things in here. So you can expand the options. So keep hierarchy will keep everything as it is in Rhino. Keep collapse by material. It means that it's gonna distribute the objects in layers based on the materials. Collapse all, it means it's gonna be a single element, not pretty, flexible in a way. So everything is going to be compact in one. And then I also use everything here with the checkbox on and automatically convert the units. And since I already made this import, it's asking me what I want to do with the material. You can keep both materials. I'm going to go with the imported material. But the first time, it shouldn't ask you that. And there you go. So something here is working, something is not. Mesh objects are definitely working, even though we need to check on some geometry. And also the SubD smoothed surface is working great, but all the solids here made with Nurbs modeling are gone, so they're not visible. And that's an issue. Now, sometimes you can fix some issues by using a specific parameter in the material, which I will show you. So I need to assign a material. You can see everything is one single mesh. It's called the Rhino scene. And down here, I can select the material tab. And also we imported some materials. And something is working really well, like also with the material. If you see this chair here, it has been imported with the materials and everything. So usually when you do FBX and use meshes models, you also import materials and everything, and you shouldn't do anything. So you need to fix things here and there. So I'm going to create a new material, which is going to be a standard material. I'm going to drag it and drop it to the scene. And when I go in the material tab on the right, I scroll all the way down to the MISC section, and here I activate two-sided. And you can see it fixes some issues, but still we have a lot of others. So it is not like the ultimate solution, but sometimes can solve problems if you have like disappearing meshes or disappearing faces. And again, everything works fine on the SubD and the meshes. So let's just import again. If you go in the import tab, you can also delete with the three dots button. You can delete and just re-import. Okay, so before importing, also you can try different formats. OBJ is fine. Also, if you're coming from Cinema 4D, 3D Studio Max, they have the native format there. And again, you'll find the courses that you want in the channel. Just look for them using the search bar. So I'm gonna do another export. And let's say I wanna export only a couple of geometries here because these are the more problematic. So I'm gonna export selected this time. And I'm gonna type here Rhino scene mesh because I want here in this moment to convert or export the Nurbs objects as meshes. And here it will ask how many polygons I want. And you can click on the preview, you can see what it's doing. So it's basically converting Nurbs into meshes. And you can arrange this differently. So you can increase, decrease the number of polygons. You can run a preview to see what's happening. You can restore the defaults. And you can also choose a jagged and faster export, which is fine for architecture. Or if you want like smooth and nice curvy things, you should use smooth and slower. But right now I'm going to use jagged and faster. So just keep in mind that the more curviness you want, the more softness you want, the more polygons you want. Okay, export and get back to Twinmotion, file. I'm gonna go up here now. This is another way you can import. You can use the Control I. So you have many ways you can import. And again, geometry, okay, select the new one, and then, well, this time I don't want to do collapse. Oh, let's do collapse by hierarchy. So this means that everything is going to be as it is. It's going to keep the hierarchy, also the distribution of the various elements and objects. Also, I'm going to, again, turn off the starting base because I don't want it and it's like overlapping in there. And there you go. So you can see we fixed the problems. Now we have our house with the roof and everything. It's in place. Well, this is like half of the project that you will find in the Rhino video course. But just to show you, this is a polyoven model that I imported. And you can see that each single element now is editable. So also, if I go here, I can change, for example, the rotation, the movement. I can resize. So, and also be careful because this refers to a pivot. So you can move, rotate, and scale, but be careful on where's the pivot, where's the origin of this model. So they all go in the origin of the world, but you want to change that. So you can expand the top toolbar here, and you can work with collision and other stuff. So here I want to work with the pivot, which is right here usually. So you can just drag it and drop it where your object is, and you can position it in a precise location. Let's say I want to position it in the corner, and then I want to rotate. So to show this object opening. And you also have animation in Twinmotion, so you can play a lot with this. And again, everything is explained in the Twinmotion video course if you're more interested. And also you can delete and you can work with these other objects. Here I have overlapping geometry actually, so I'm deleting stuff with the delete key. But again, if I take this, I can now move it. So, well, I cannot see the pivot again. So these are local and global coordinates, also helpful. But for the pivot, you need to go up here and you have a set of options for the pivot. So let's say that I want to center the pivot, and that's going to center it to the selection. And then I can, reset if you want, or I can just now use it where it is. So you can see it's opening the closet. And also I can change the position of the roof. I can see some, exploding geometry to show what's inside, etc., etc. Now to finish, this is a Grasshopper project, and also it will work fine. Remember, in Grasshopper you need to bake in order to have the final solid or the final mesh. Otherwise you won't be able to export anything. And again, I'm going to select the objects to export. I'm going to choose an origin, and I'm going to export. And you can use FBX as well, which is what I'm doing. So Grasshopper, scene, mesh. Also, if you use other formats, make sure you are exporting meshes and not Nurbs. And now let's go back in Twinmotion, import, click on the plus, click on open, select the file, and well, this time I want to go for collapse by material, meaning that I will be using the kind of layers based on materials. And we have a conflict here with this glass material, which has the same name. You can decide which one you want to keep, or if you want to keep both. And there you go, it's importing. And now that glass is not particularly beautiful, so I can fix it a little bit. Maybe I can do a colored glass, which will show up better. So you can see everything now, it's divided, but I still have a folder that I can select and I can move, and that's gonna take all the children within the folder with it. So it's pretty handy and useful. I'm gonna push this a little bit up. I'm gonna rotate it a little bit. And now let's see this glass here. You can see it's divided into materials. So that's the glass. So I don't need to go like in each single element. I can just select one mesh and it's going to take care of that glass. And that's the glass right here. It's kind of a totally transparent. So sometimes conversion of material is good, sometimes it's not. Just create new material here. You have the basic material, so I'm going to go with the basic glass, and I'm just going to drag it and drop it to the object that I want to apply it. Now you can drag it also in the hierarchy, or you can drag it directly on the object. And again, it's not really visible. Well, also because the real-time render in Twinmotion is not so accurate. So if you click up here, you have the ray tracing render, which is going to show you a little bit better what's going on with transparent materials, reflective materials, and so on. Of course, it gets really heavy to move around and slow, but that's the way you want to do this, with a more realistic fashion. And I'm going to apply here just a color just to show you better the glass in there. And that's going to be it for this video guide. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe to the channel to stay updated. If you want to support us and thank us, join the channel as a supporter. And check our other courses in Grasshopper, Rhino, Design and Architecture in Rhino, and much, much more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.